afternoon's top stories. Governor General conveys condolences to Cuban people on death of former President Fidel Castro Ruz. Cubans look ahead to life after Fidel Castro, and protests erupt after North Carolina cop not charged in deadly shooting. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, December 1st, 2016. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, GCMG, CVO, QCJP, has conveyed condolences on behalf of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to the Cuban Ambassador, His Excellency Hugo Ruz Cabrera, on the death of a former leader of the Republic of Cuba, Fidel Castro Ruz. During a visit to the Cuban Embassy on Wednesday, Sir Tapley signed the Book of Condolences before speaking to Ambassador Cabrera. Describing Castro, who was well known as El Commandant, as an iconic leader of not only Cuba but the Americas and the world, Sir Tapley Seaton indicated that he had had the great pleasure of meeting him on a visit to Cuba. Speaking about the legacy of Commandant Castro, the Governor General said, quote, "Certainly we continue to benefit from his visionary policies, and we look forward to continuing that excellent relationship, as I am sure would be his desire," end of quote. Fidel Castro ruled Cuba for almost 50 years. He died on Friday, November 25th. He was 90 years old. Premier of Nevis Honorable Vance Amory presented the Nevis Island Administration's $236.3 million tax-free budget when he delivered the 2017 budget address at a sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly on Wednesday. The theme was a revitalization of skills development and entrepreneurship for economic success. Mr. Amory said that there is an increase of 22.42% in the 2017 budget over that of 2016, which is driven mainly by the administration's formidable capital investment budget. The Ministries of Finance and Communications received the largest chunks with $82.3 million and $39.7 million allocations respectively. Regarding no additional taxes, Mr. Amory said the administration believes that excessive taxation serves as a deterrent to increase economic growth and prosperity. He said it is also the duty of every administration to sustain growth in the economy by expanding economic activities in a way that creates opportunities for its people. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris has taken steps to strengthen relations during a high-level visit to Qatar. The Prime Minister met the Qatar Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser bin Khalifa Al Thani, and international hotel property owner, His Excellency Sheikh Faisal bin Qasim Al Thani. The St. Kitts and Nevis delegation also met His Excellency Dr. Hamadan bin Abdulaziz Al Karari, a Qatari diplomat and statesman. At an official press conference in Doha, Prime Minister Harris said he welcomed the new friendship with Qatar as a small but influential country in the Arab region. Dr. Harris has said that as two small states, both countries share similar developmental concerns, notably in prioritizing education and long-term tourism investment. Dr. Al-Kawari agreed that that St. Kitts and Nevis's development policy framework provides a strong basis for sustainable economic and social well-being. The organizers of the Walk in My Shoes exercises say they are pleased with the success of the event and hope it sheds a light on many of their concerns. On Wednesday, persons were given the opportunity to experience the world like a disabled person by either being blindfolded or by using a wheelchair. President of the Association of Persons with Disabilities, Anthony Mills, said he hopes that there can be a change in the national policies to take into account the needs of the disabled.
Well, I'm hoping that not only would people have a greater appreciation for what people with disability goes through, but that it would bring about some kind of change in the national policy, and that our building codes would be revised, taking into account that how inaccessible our physical environment is, and that we would have more information available in a format that persons who are blind and so can use.
Chairman of the association's week of activities, Earl Clark, said through this exercise they hope to inspire others.
I think we have shown people that they can learn from us, that despite our disabilities, we are still a part of the human race. We go about our daily tasks and we don't complain. And there are people out there who are able-bodied and they're always complaining, and they could look for us or look to us for inspiration.
Parliamentarians and members of the public took part in the Walk in My Shoes exercise.
Hi, I'm Carla Burridge. Join me weekdays at 7 p.m. for ZIZ's evening newscast. We'll let you know what's happening in your community.
Saturday mornings are better than ever when ZIZ TV becomes the animation station. The fun kicks off at 9 a.m. with the Legion of Superheroes, followed by Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes at 9:30. At 10 o'clock, Wolverine and the X-Men roar into action, and we wrap things up with Young Justice at 10:30. All this and more surprises every Saturday morning on ZIZ TV, the animation station.
And on the regional scene, the funeral procession carrying the ashes of Cuba's former President Fidel Castro has begun a 4-day journey across Cuba. Many argue that Castro's death clears the way for a more open Cuba with greater political and economic freedom, while others completely disagree. We hear more in this report.
It's better not to talk politics in the Tiang household, especially this week after the death of Fidel Castro. Let's see what's in the paper, asks Jaime. The same old stuff, says his daughter Yami Bell. Jaime is a former army major, retired now. He still believes in the principles of the revolution, still adores the man who led his country.
He gave us liberty, he gave us opportunity to study, to become human. I'm from a small town. Before the revolution, all we could dream was to be a shoe shiner when we ourselves had no shoes to shine. That was the life of a country boy before the revolution. Fidel changed that.
Yami Bell is 34 and a music producer employed by the state. She's not sure her future is better because of Castro.
There came a time when the revolution stopped revolutionizing. Let's say from the early 1990s till now, we are in a permanent crisis that seems unending. We make almost no progress, and we don't understand when it's someone else's turn to lead that he hasn't done more.
The death of Castro has reopened the old debate of where does Cuba go from here? Will there be more political freedom, more economic opportunity? Will there be enough change to make sure that people don't want to leave? Or will it be more of the same, with the shadow of Fidel almost everywhere?
Ronaldo Taladrid is a political analyst who's cleared to appear on state TV. He insists change will be driven from inside Cuba.
There is a lot of people here who say, I disagree with this, I don't like this, but I want to live here, I want to change things here, I want to modify things here, and I want change here.
Back in the Tiang home on the outskirts of Havana, the radio follows the progress of Fidel Castro's remains through the rest of the country. He splits opinion, even when Jaime thinks there is agreement.
Speaking as the head of this family, I can assure you there is no difference between any of us in our love and respect for our commander-in-chief.
I feel this loss of Fidel, but I have my own personal way to view what it means. He lived a long life, but my parents can't live from their pension alone, and if my brother didn't send money from Spain, they wouldn't have enough to eat.
Fidel Castro's influence in Cuba will continue even after his death. How much and for how long is something the people are waiting to be answered. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Havana.
As part of Barbados' 50th anniversary celebrations, Barbadians formed a human chain link around the island. We hear more in this Nation News Barbados report.
Thousands of people joined hands around Barbados on Monday in an effort to unite the country for the 50th anniversary of independence. The One People, One Barbados Human Chain Link was a collaboration between the Ministry of Education, Power of Choice, and Trident 10 TV. School children, representatives of various businesses, members of the general public, and visitors all took part in the exercise. There were wide gaps along some parts of the route, but the organizers said they were generally pleased with the turnout. Let's hear from some of those who formed links in Bay Street, St. Michael.
We are here with the students of Barbados City Secondary School. We are very happy to be here, to be part of this chain link that's taking place this morning. We're very excited.
How many students is inside?
I would say we have about 600 children here this morning.
So how do you feel about participating in today's event?
Good, because the last time when it was available, it was only a year old.
So now you have the opportunity to...
Yes, please. The Saturday puzzle was the new one last year. I had a couple of weeks now.
So how do you feel about Barbados' 50th year of independence?
Glad to be alive to see it.
What is your name?
Rosalie Thompson.
And Barbados,
yes.
Were you a part of the first chain link?
Yes, please.
How was it? Do you remember how it was?
It was great. Very great, yes. I
So you
enjoyed it.
Okay.
This was the second attempt at a human chain link around the island. The first was on November 30th, 1979.
And on the international scene, protests broke out overnight in Charlotte, North Carolina, after the decision to not charge the police officer who shot and killed Keith Lamont Scott in September. The district attorney says Scott had a gun and Officer Brentley Vincent acted in self-defense. Jerica Duncan has that story.
It is my opinion that Officer Vincent acted lawfully when he shot Mr. Scott.
Charlotte District Attorney Andrew Murray said he and 15 top prosecutors unanimously agreed that Officer Brentley Vincent's use of deadly force against Keith Lamont Scott was justified.
He doesn't have a gun.
In cell phone video of the September confrontation, Scott's wife, Rakia, claimed her husband was unarmed.
No gun. You didn't see any gun? No gun.
In October, Scott told Gail King she stood by her observation.
They say there was an ankle holster on your husband. Never seen it a day in my life.
On Wednesday, Murray said he wanted to correct misinformation and showed surveillance footage of Scott just before the shooting, pointing out that the bulge at his ankle was consistent with the shape of the ankle holster and gun recovered at the scene.
Mr. Scott's DNA was found on the slide of the gun and on the grip of the gun.
Murray said videos released by police do not show a gun in Scott's hand when he got out of his car, but he says the videos do show Scott's pant leg pulled up above where police said they recovered the ankle holster. Officer Vincent was working undercover outside Scott's apartment executing a warrant for someone else's arrest. He says he noticed Scott smoking marijuana in a parked SUV. Risking a blown cover, he ignored it.
That all changed when Officer Vincent saw Mr. Scott holding up a semi-automatic handgun as he sat in his vehicle.
Drop the gun! Investigators say Scott disregarded at least 10 commands by officers to drop the gun. Vincent spoke to investigators the next day.
I felt like if I didn't do anything right then at that point, it's like he was going to shoot me or just shoot one of my buddies.
Attorney Eduardo Curry represents the Scott family.
How do you jump from an open carry state to now there's imminent danger and therefore deadly force should be used?
Attorneys for the Scott family say they will continue to investigate the case and look into a civil suit.
The White House says it will not allow President-elect Donald Trump to veto any releases from Guantanamo Bay Prison before he takes office. The Obama administration is working to find countries that will accept dozens of prisoners who've been cleared to leave. Margaret Brannon speaks to a son of a detainee.
On a quiet day in the Guantanamo prison yard, giant buzzards picked at a detainee's leftovers. One prisoner spotted our cameras and gave an impromptu art show. We weren't permitted to film his face as he described each painting in a mix of English and Arabic. His name is Khalid Qasim. He's accused of training with al-Qaeda, but he has never been charged with a crime 14 years after arriving here. Nearly half of the 60 remaining detainees will never be charged, in part due to a lack of conclusive evidence. But Rear Admiral Peter Clark said there are grounds for their detention.
I know that the detainees we have here today are not folks who were accidentally rounded up. There's a reason why they're still here.
Saifullah Parasha is the oldest detainee at 69. He claims his encounters with both Osama bin Laden and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed were innocent. The U.S. intelligence community disagrees, but his son Mustafa said it's not fair to continue holding him.
Charge him, take him to court, release him, transfer him to the U.S., but something needs to be done.
Parasha's lawyer, David Remus, is afraid the prison doors will slam shut when Donald Trump takes office. His client told him the prisoners were on edge on election night.
He said that many detainees thought that it was the end of the world and felt terrible, and that many detainees asked for tranquilizers, sleeping pills, because they were so distraught.
Some prisoners are being freed as the U.S. no longer considers them a security threat.
You can hold up to 5.
Commander Stephen Gabovics told us that before leaving, detainees stay in this college dorm-like apartment to begin adjusting to life on the outside.
Here they'll have a refrigerator, they have the showers, they have the TV, free access they'll have a DVD player, They'll have, if they want to, a PlayStation game.
This route out of the prison is called the Pathway to Freedom.
Officials here insist that they are not rushing out any prisoners, but there is congressional concern that they are being sent to countries that won't adequately monitor them or stop them from posing a future threat.
And now for a look at today's weather. Present weather is cloudy. Winds are from the east-southeast at 9 to 16 miles per hour with lighter spells overnight. Seas are moderate to locally rough with swells reaching 4 to 6 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are asked to exercise caution. The weather forecast predicts partly cloudy skies today and tonight with periods of increased cloudiness and a good chance of some brief passing late afternoon and overnight showers. Sunset today will be at 5:36 p.m. and the sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:25 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.